IT happened. SpaceX is finally launching their new Falcon Heavy to orbit 2021. SpaceX's Falcon Heavy rocket just got another passenger. The powerful Falcon Heavy is now scheduled to launch Astrani's first commercial communications satellite to orbit next spring, Astrani's representatives announced Thursday, September 23. The satellite, which will beam internet service down to Alaskans from geostationary orbit, about 22,200 miles, 35,730 kilometers, up, had previously been slated to ride atop a SpaceX Falcon 9. So don't forget to watch today's video to the very end as we show how SpaceX is finally launching their new Falcon Heavy to orbit. Launching on Falcon Heavy will get us on orbit months faster, allowing us to serve customers in Alaska that much sooner, Astrani's CEO John Jedmark said in a statement. This is a huge win for our customers in Alaska. The Alaska-serving satellite will be just the beginning for Astrani's if all goes according to plan. By owning and operating its satellites and offering them to customers as a turnkey solution, Astrani's is able to provide bandwidth as a service and unlock previously unreachable markets. Representatives of the San Francisco-based company wrote in the same statement. This allows Astrani's to launch small, dedicated satellites for small and medium-sized countries, Fortune 500 companies, existing satellite operators, and other customers. The 880-pound, 400 kilograms Astrani's satellite will share space on the Falcon Heavy with another communications craft, Viasat-3, which will be operated by fellow California company Viasat. Falcon Heavy has just 3 launches under its belt to date, but it's poised to get quite a workout over the coming months. The rocket is scheduled to launch 2 classified missions for the U.S. Space Force by early 2022, the first of which will lift off next month. The Viasat-3/Astrani's flight will follow shortly thereafter. And Falcon Heavy's manifest also includes NASA's Psyche asteroid mission, which is slated to launch next August. The rocket will also fly some other high-profile missions in the near future, including NASA's ice-hunting Viper Moon rover in 2023 and Europa Clipper probe in 2024. The Falcon Heavy consists of 3 modified, strapped-together Falcon 9 first stages. The central core is topped by a second stage, which carries the payload. Like the workhorse Falcon 9, the Falcon Heavy is partially reusable. All 3 first stages are designed to return to Earth, make vertical, powered landings, and fly again. Yet another gig for Falcon Heavy. SpaceX's Big Falcon Heavy rocket then got another gig. NASA picked Falcon Heavy to launch the Geostationary Operational Environmental Satellite U, GOES-U, with a planned liftoff in April 2024 from Kennedy Space Center in Florida. Agency officials announced on Friday, September 10, the total launch cost for NASA will be about $152.5 million, they added. GOES-U will provide advanced imagery and atmospheric measurements of Earth's weather, oceans, and environment, as well as real-time mapping of total lightning activity and improved monitoring of solar activity and space weather. NASA officials said in a statement Friday. GOES-U will be the 4th and final spacecraft in the GOES-R series, a collaboration between NASA and the U.S. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA. These highly capable weather satellites, which are operated by NOAA, eye Earth from geostationary orbit, 22,236 miles, 35,785 kilometers above the planet's surface. NASA mission Jupiter's Ocean Moon has arrived. NASA's highly anticipated mission to Jupiter's Ocean Moon Europa now has a rocket ride too. The $4.25 billion Europa Clipper spacecraft will launch atop a SpaceX Falcon Heavy rocket, NASA officials announced Friday, July 23. The total value of the contract is about $178 million, they added. If all goes according to plan, Clipper will lift off in October 2024 from NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida and arrive in orbit around Jupiter in April 2030. The probe will then study Europa in depth during nearly 50 close flybys of the Moon over the course of about 4 Earth years, mission team members have said. Europa harbors a huge ocean of liquid water beneath its icy shell and is regarded as one of the solar system's best bets to host alien life. Clipper will, among many other tasks, characterize the ocean and ice shell and hunt for good, safe places to land a life-hunting Europa surface craft, which Congress has directed NASA to develop. The lander mission remains a concept for now, however. It does not have funding and is not on NASA's books yet. The announcement ends a lengthy launch limbo for the Europa Clipper mission. Congress originally instructed NASA to launch both Clipper and the future lander on the Space Launch System SLS, the giant rocket that the agency is building to launch people and probes to deep space destinations. But the development of SLS has been plagued by delays and cost overruns over the years. The megarocket still hasn't flown, and its first few missions are already devoted to NASA's Artemis program of lunar exploration, which aims to land people on the moon as early as 2024 and establish a sustainable human presence there by the end of the decade. It has therefore been unclear when an SLS would become available for Europa Clipper. Some wiggle room for the mission opened up last summer, when the U.S. House of Representatives said in its proposed 2021 budget that NASA was to launch Clipper by 2025 and the future lander by 2027, and to use SLS for both if available. Clipper gets clarity. The wording greenlit the possibility of a commercial alternative to SLS, and the Clipper team started planning for both contingencies, a double duty that negatively affected the mission's maturation, team members have said. Then, this past January, the Europa Clipper team finally got the clarity it wanted, in the form of a memo from NASA's Planetary Missions Program Office. It told mission team members to stop planning for a possible SLS launch because Clipper would ride to space on a commercial rocket. And now we know which rocket that will be. Clipper's ride to Europa will be more circuitous with a Falcon Heavy launch than it would have been aboard SLS, which NASA touts as the most powerful rocket ever developed. SLS would have sent Clipper on a direct-to-Jupiter trajectory, arriving at the giant planet less than 3 years after liftoff. The use of a commercial rocket will require Clipper to perform speed-boosting flybys of Mars and Earth in February 2025 and December 2026, respectively, mission project scientist Bob Pappalardo of NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Southern California said back in the day. The Gateway Space Station. Earlier, NASA had selected SpaceX to deliver the first 2 segments of the moon-orbiting Gateway Space Station for its upcoming Artemis program, which aims to put astronauts back on the moon. The elements will launch atop a Falcon Heavy rocket sometime in 2024. The flight, which is the second to be awarded to SpaceX this week. The first was a contract worth $98.8 million to launch NASA's SpaceX astrophysics mission, will carry the Gateway's power and habitation modules. Launching from Pad 39A at NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida, the mission will cost NASA $331.8 million and is scheduled to blast off no earlier than May 2024. Once deposited in lunar orbit, the Gateway will serve as an outpost for astronauts and equipment heading to the moon as part of NASA's Artemis program. Roughly 1/6 the size of the International Space Station, the Gateway will support research investigations, crew, and expeditions to the lunar surface. The outpost will serve as a docking station for visiting spacecraft, such as NASA's Orion spacecraft, and will orbit the moon tens of thousands of miles away. It will be a pit stop on the way to the lunar surface. NASA recently paused its search for a human landing system, which will transport astronauts from the Gateway down to the surface of the moon. The agency is expected to resume reviewing those bids soon. The pair of modules SpaceX will ferry into space are the Power and Propulsion Element (PPE) and the Habitation and Logistics Outpost (HALO), which are being built by Maxar Technologies and Northrop Grumman Space Systems, respectively. The PPE will provide the Gateway with power, enabling communications as well as helping the station move to various lunar orbits, while HALO will give astronauts a place to stay on their way to the moon. Astronauts traveling to the moon will launch aboard crew-toting capsules like Orion, and HALO will provide docking support for those vehicles. European involvement. The European Space Agency will be providing the service module for the Gateway, which includes key life support elements, including consumables like oxygen and water, as well as electricity and temperature controls. That hardware is scheduled to launch on NASA's second planned flight of its new megarocket, the Space Launch System, SLS. That mission, called Artemis II, will be the first crewed mission of the Artemis program. It is scheduled to launch 4 astronauts on a loop around the moon in 2023, in preparation for a 2024 moon landing with the Artemis III mission. The first SLS flight, scheduled to launch in late 2021, will be an uncrewed test flight around the moon. Officials at ESA have said that the life support systems on the Gateway will be able to host visiting astronauts for up to 90 days at a time. NASA's Johnson Space Center in Texas will manage the Gateway program, while the agency's Launch Services Program, LSP, at Kennedy Space Center will manage the launch. With that, we end today's video. If you enjoyed our video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Lastly, join in a next time for more of such interesting content.